Halo, it's Jang here with the Mega Bloks Halo Series Echo blind bag figures, the full series, including the two undocumented active camo or gummy semi-transparent figures. These, as always, come in just regular blind bags, individually packed like this. You get one at a time, and you don't know what's inside unless you look at the code right there. That code corresponds to what you're going to get inside. There are different series, but it's always consistent, and within each code series you can distinguish between different figures. You can find the list of codes online. Let's take a closer look at these figures. So these three here are the common level Spartans in the series. Oceanic here in green, white Defender with a nice dark blue visor, and then this is just a generic Mark V armored Spartan over on the right, as you would have seen during the timeline of Reach. So Noble 6 used the same helmet there. Of course, we generally just go by helmets to kind of determine what we're going to call a given Spartan figure. I think all of these look okay, but I always do wish for more lining around the edge of the visor for the Defender figures. I feel like they just paint those in too small. Kind of makes the face that's shown in that visor look really small, like not pin-headed, but pin-faced, if you will. These are the other two commoners in the series, with the gray Marine and crimson Elite Ranger there. Everybody likes Spartans. I like Spartans, but I personally am more excited to get these two figures. The Marine is just a very massable figure and just something that you want to see a lot of. And it's a very neutral color, neutral to dark, which just works pretty much anywhere except against snow. The Ranger is one of my favorite variants of Elite in general. I think that the visor on this one is pretty good, and I appreciate the additional paint application going around the base of that entire helmet there. So good stuff. Also, this Marine over here has an additional pouch that's attached onto his leg there, onto the right leg. It's another nice thing to get, just an accessory that can be placed on other figures as well. It also comes with a backpack on this one. So I personally am especially happy with these, and I think they look good from every angle. These two are the rares, and while I do feel this Scout looks good in that color, and it makes sense to see a Scout again with a Magnum. We're just used to that from Palmer. I do think that's a really good hue of purple in general. I feel like the Jackal on the left does not belong in the same tier of rarity and specialness, because that Jackal to me looks phenomenal. I am proud to have that figure. I feel like I could have lots and lots of the Scout on the right, but the one on the left, the Jackal, just looks like something that could be a centerpiece of some kind of display. It's the root beer brown color for the armor, but then they put in a lot of gold metallic flake on top of that. I don't know if it's actually in the resin or just a coating over the top of it. I believe it's in the resin. But it also has a bunch of paint applications, not just the plastic color. So obviously the face, as always, printed in nicely, as they have done for a while. I think some of that's actually done by hand. And then the tufts of feathers are done with the dark reddish color. Lots of gunmetal gray applications as well around the back, in the center, even on the backs of the thighs there. You get the little brownish, goldish brown colored kind of bangles around the wrists as well. That one just really stands out to me, and these two just don't look right to me side by side on the same level of pedestal. The Arbiter here is not very visible. There we go. Now you can see him, all completely clear, and yet not specifically a chase figure, not one of the hidden secret rare ones. This is just super rare, so it's a lot easier to find, and hey, I appreciate that. Getting one with no color, just a plain clear, a named character. Now obviously Halo 5 variant here, but he looks good. I mean, Arbiter is always going to look good. I mean, he's the Arbiter, right? But I think most things in active camo clear in particular look good and makes sense also. It's not something where they've mixed together a color that you don't actually see, or a type of unit that you don't actually see ever go into active camo. This makes total sense and could even do kind of combinations with parts from one of the standard Arbiter figures to kind of show him activating active camo. Now that brings me to these two active camo figures, the real chase figures of the line. On the right is an aviator Spartan. On the left is a pilot in smoke, transparent dark brown. I can never complain about getting any of these. I love to collect them. I love the fact that they exist. I think that in general they look really great on any kind of display, and they make you feel extra happy when you find one of these, given how rare they are. One thing that's a little bit odd to me is just how close that pilot is to the one that we got in Series Alpha, which was actually an ODST with everything the same except for the head. So you see, they're completely identical except for the head. Well, and the weapon. So the pilot gets the new smoke clear or trans brown Magnum, whereas the ODST version came with the small SMG. Also, the pilot does not come with backpack, and that's perfectly fine. But otherwise, everything, correct me if I'm wrong, but everything else looks exactly the same. It's not a bad thing, necessarily. It's just a little bit odd for something of such great rarity. But there you go. Those are the two that we get for this series, and I'm happy for both. Let me know in a comment what you think about this series on the whole, and if you have any thoughts on any particular figures that kind of stand out to you, if you have any favorites out of what you've seen here. My two favorite are definitely the Jackal and the Marine, the gray Marine. The Marine is just such a common thing to get. Jackals are common things to get in universe as well, but I like these color combinations. Let me know your thoughts and your favorites, and I'll catch you again soon in the next video.